So, one of the questions that I've seen popping up a lot is, who's the best? Who's the best turtle? Are they better than Vega? All that type of stuff. I'm not quite ready to do a proper tier list yet for units. I don't think there's been enough new units to justify a new tier list. So instead, I'm just going to answer the question first of all. Are they better than Vega? I don't think it's as easy to answer as yes and no, but ultimately I think no. And the reason I think no is because Vega is Vega. He just goes into a team and he works. Whereas to get the most out of the turtles, I feel like you need other turtles, right? So whereas Vega is one and done, just that character, to really maximise the usage of the turtles, you kind of want to have other turtles with them to really help them push those high numbers, right? They're fantastic units. I just don't think they are over Vega, mainly because Vega is more of a PvP focused character. He does great in bosses as well, but I think he's more PvP focused than the turtles are, despite the fact that I think the turtles can do very well in PvP. But anyway, what order would I rank them in, right? That is a question that people have asked me, and I've ignored it up to now because I thought, you know what, it's light on content. Let's make a video talking about it. So what would I personally, how would I rank these bad boys, these heroes in a half shell, these mutants with mad attitude? I wouldn't rank them in that order. So if we had them running from Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, I wouldn't rank them in that order, right? What I would do, however, is if I move you away, it helps me to move characters about, right? In my opinion, he's the worst turtle. And the reason I say that is, I guess it's a little bit nuanced, but I don't like Mikey. I like Mikey, like I like him as a character, but in the game I don't like him because he can be quite tanky, right, which is good, but he kind of tanks for no reason, if that makes sense, because if he's the last man standing on your team, the last Ronin so to speak, he's not really dishing out anything enough to actually matter, right? So if in a PvP scenario, if the other team has wiped everyone out, Michelangelo's not going to solo it, right? Whereas, honestly, a unit like Rhonda, even just with his super, it hits so hard he could solo it. If you could manage to get him to survive, he could potentially solo it because he's just that damn tanky and he's that damn powerful. Whereas Michelangelo doesn't really dish out enough to be that last man standing that can get you over the line. He just is that last man standing, and you'll run to a timeout maybe if you're lucky. I just don't think he does enough as a strong tank to justify me saying he's anything better than the worst turtle. Now his C1, don't get me wrong, it's quite cool. It's got that damage reduction effect, but I need to view these turtles as a whole, as if you've got all of them, and you're probably not going to run Mikey's C1 over Donatello's C1. So for that reason, I'm going to put Mikey into bottom, last place. The next one, who I'm a bit gutted about, to be honest, who I'm going to say is the second worst turtle, or I can hair in my mouth, or the third turtle ranked, whatever, is Raph. Now, Raph is solid for buffing. He is. He's not fantastic for damage. I mean, he's not horrible for damage, but he's not fantastic for damage, right? It's all about him buffing the damage output of the rest of your team. And if you've got a full turtle team, then awesome, great. But he's very tailored to that specific niche. He's very tailored to you having a turtle team. He will buff other units, just not to anywhere near the same level as the turtles. So, because he is, I want to say, less independent, he's a unit who, honestly, I don't see you using that often outside of the turtles team. I'm going to put him into 4th place. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Now the next one. Both of these units can work independently, which is why they are definitely the 2 best units of the collab. This is the one that's going to get people a bit upset, however. I would actually say that Leonardo's the 2nd best unit of the collaboration. He is phenomenal. Okay? But he's a DPS unit. Okay? And with every gacha game, I've said this for the longest time, there will come a point when this guy is just not going to cut the mustard. If the game doesn't shut down before then, right? But he will get power crept. You will find that there's going to be someone else that comes along pretty quickly that can just smash the numbers that this guy puts out. That is part and parcel of gacha games. And he just isn't going to be as future-proof as the unit who I think is the best, which is Donatello. Now, if you've watched my tier list videos talking about what units are best long term, who should you target, what should you do, I've said for the longest time, and this is true of every gacha game I have ever played, units who are harder to power creep, units who hang on the longest, tend to be support units. So when you get a good support unit that you can get, it should be your priority. Honestly, if you're someone who's not summoned on part 1, and you think to yourself now, oh god damn it, I've missed out, I should have summoned in part 1, Raphael's not as good as Leonardo, oh I feel like a loser, whatever, you're not a loser, because this guy here is an absolutely phenomenal support unit. Phenomenal, right? He'll keep you alive, he'll provide you with fantastic shielding, healing, crit rate damage. All of these things are phenomenal, right? In my opinion, because of longevity, because of the fact that he's not going to get power crept anytime soon. I mean, he might not get power crept anytime soon, right? But there's going to be other units that come along that put out as much damage as him. Support units that are really good are quite few and far between, right? If you look at the support units that we go to, or go-to support units, she is still pretty much number 1 when it comes to boosting damage. And she was the first factional summonable unit added to the game. Never mind support, she was literally the first unit who was added to the game into the standard pool. And she is still probably number 1 when it comes to using as a buffer, a purebred buffer to help boost your team's damage numbers. That's how long support units hang on. And honestly, apart from a few units who get close, I don't think anyone's really dislodged her as the best support unit for pure damage, right? He has got things within his kit that put him towards that level, and for that reason, I do think Donatello is number 1. He's not my favourite turtle by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do feel like he is the best turtle in the collab. I know it's not exciting, I know that. Support units are not exciting. You want the guys who do the big flashy numbers. But those big flashy numbers are only made possible by units like this and units like her. these guys are the reason why these other guys can put out those high numbers. They enable so much more of their kit. And again, for that reason, I am 100% saying I think Donatello is number 1. Raphael, Leonardo, number 2. Raphael, number 3. Mikey, 4th place. That's my ranking. Call me a wanker, I don't care. That is my top 4 turtles ranked in order of best to worst. Best, second worst, worst. Done. I'm out of here. I'll catch you in the next one. Argue with me in the comments down below. I've been Hayzink. Peace.